If you're looking for a great summer horror read, I have the book for you. And it is The Insatiable Volt Sisters by Rachel Eve Moulton. This book takes place on an island in Lake Erie. And this island has a very strange and mysterious history or mystery that the islanders keep very close to themselves behind closed doors. Falls this family named the Volts. They have a very interesting secret that you don't find out right away or exactly what it is. And this island has a history of all these women who have gone missing. And there's this quarry and there's a pond in the quarry and it's called the Killing Pond, or at least that's what they've given the name, because all these women come to the island and they're sad, and a lot of them, it seems like no one's really looking for them and in really bad situations, and a lot of them will fall into this pond and die, but they disappear, and most of them, the bodies are never recovered. They find like objects left behind, like a shoe or a journal or a necklace or something random like that. So you have this weird island history and these bodies of these women that disappear in Lake Erie. And Lake Erie has a lot of strange things that have happened around it, if you've ever looked into any of it or the history of it. This follows the story of these two sisters, Beatrice and Henrietta. When they're younger, they run around the island, and their father owns like part of the island or half of the island, a big chunk of it, and their family helped establish it. And there used to be these other two sisters too, Eileen and Elizabeth. The one sister ended up marrying like the great-great-grandfather Volt, went to this house that now the two sisters live in. And the two sisters, it starts out when they're younger. The one sister, Henrietta, like hears and talks to ghosts that are in the house walls. There's always like whispering and weird stuff. So like they live in a haunted house basically, but the other sister, she can't hear any of it. So at some point, the mom, Carrie, of Henrietta, the other daughter is not Carrie's daughter. Her mother passed. Her mother was one of the women who jumped. Carrie had married James, who was the father of Beatrice, and then they had Henrietta. And so the girls are like 2 years apart, so they're not too far apart in age. They become super close, they grow up together, and they're the best of friends. They have the run of the island, they spend their summers in bliss, and they live on the island even in the crazy, horrible winters that are there. At some point, Carrie and James grow apart, and Carrie's been having all these weird feelings like the island is just doing bad things towards the girls, and just weird stuff is happening, and she's like, I need to get these girls off this island because something is not right. Is it a family curse? What is it? What's with all the haunting in the walls? And then something really horrible and kind of tragic and disturbing happens that they don't really explain that well in the beginning of the book, but you get to it as you get further into it, and then you find out what actually happened. What they end up doing is splitting up the girls. So Carrie takes Henrietta and they go off island and live off island, and then Beatrice stays on the island with her father. Henrietta and the mom are probably never going to come back to this island ever again. So fast forward to present day, they're now in like their 20s, like mid-20s, and James dies. The father dies. So Henrietta, Henry as they call her, and Carrie are going to come back to the island for the funeral. And now the thing is, will the island let go of Henrietta now that the father has passed? And what was the father's secret? And what is the connection between the haunted house and all these women disappearing in this killing pond? And like, where did the bodies go? What is in the pond? Is there something in the pond? And what's with these girls and their insatiable appetites? It's a heck of a story. It's a horror story, and I didn't think it was too horrific. I feel like there was a little bit of like tiny bit of gore, but I didn't think it was that overwhelmingly gory. Like the story was just really good, and the relationship with the characters, how they're written, was really good, and the weird stuff that happened, like the ending was kind of wild, like what ended up happening and how everything like came together and came into play. And it was just a really fun read, and I thought it would be a great beach read too, just because, you know, it's on this island in the water, and most of it takes place during the summer, and they talk about this event called Masquerade where people come and they all seem to like dress up like zombies. So I don't know if it was just a specifically zombie masquerade. So you have all these like weird drunk tourists in the beginning, and it was fun. It was summery, it was a little bit creepy and weird, which obviously I love. The writing was great. It was an addictive read. It's kind of a chunky book. It was like 400 pages, but I read it in 2 days. can't believe I read it in 2 days. I stayed up really late reading it because I couldn't stop. I guess the question is, once the dad passes and the girls take on the stuff of the island, what are the secrets that were hidden? Guess to find out, you'll have to read the book. So if you are a fan of horror books, the next video coming up will be about another horror book. So stick around, check it out. And if you had fun hanging out today, hit that subscribe button. Come back, see me again. We'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.